On today's episode, we visit a man that was elected by the people for the people. A man that many historians believe should have been one of our presidents. A man that would for 17 years was just a heartbeat or two away from being the president. A man that actually brought electricity and paved roads to rural areas. A man that didn't just talk about civil rights, but actually passed legislation for civil rights bills. A man that never uttered the words, "If you don't vote for me, you ain't black." The subject of today's video, none other than one Mr. Sam Rayburn. Howdy folks, welcome to today's episode. I'm your host Max, and we are at the Sam Rayburn house in Bonham, Texas. However, I got here and it's closed, but there it is, off in the distance. So we want to get to see his house. I don't know a lot about this man. I know he's the longest running Speaker of the House in the history of the United States. Other than that, I've heard a few things about him, his personal life. Anyway, there's a library in town just a few miles from here, so we can go check the library out and see if we can't learn a little bit about Sam Rayburn. Join us. Ciao, y'all. Well, howdy adventurers, and welcome to today's episode. We are at the Sam Rayburn Memorial Library. And it's 111 degrees today, so we're going to get inside as soon as possible. Let's check out this statue in front. And we may not be going in here. Not sure what's going on with all the string stuff. Sam Rayburn Library, and it looks to be like some of the ceiling's caving in. Maybe that's why I got it roped off. I don't think it is.
I think it's closed.
Maybe. Sam Rayburn is born in 1882 and died in 1961. He was the longest running Speaker of the House. So this place looks pretty dilapidated. It looks like they used to have a fountain here that is no longer working either. What a shame. Looks like it was once a beautiful place. I did see a side door. I'm gonna go check and see if the side door is open. Right, here's a side door. Let's see if this is the entrance. Voila. We're inside. It smells old in here. It's kind of cool. I don't know. See if we find anybody. All right, we're inside. So normally you come through here. The lady just came and greeted us and said that that front porch, the ceiling tiles are coming down. So that's why I had to come through the side entrance. So I know very little about this man. I know a lot of the toll roads and everything is named after him. So let's go. I have no idea if he's Democrat, Republican, what he was. But let's go find out. First elected to the House of Representatives in 1912, Rayburn served as Speaker of the House for a record 17 years. Wow, even longer than Nancy Pelosi. That's amazing. She's like 140. Just finally he's not the Speaker. Leadership as Speaker, Democratic minority leader and elder. So I guess he was Democratic. Cold War, Cold War. Oh, there you go. There's a little bit about him. Let's check this place out. An honest man. Mr. Sam. Pay your poll tax now. And you see tax and honest in the same board. I'm losing my trust already. So this is interesting here. Rayburn faced a dilemma over the civil rights movement. The views of many of his constituents contradict Rayburn's commitment to a sense of fair play. They're behind FDR. Country over party. God, I wish they would go back to that philosophy. Country over party. Talking about the self-defense and World War II. In 1936, only 2% of rural Texas had electricity. That's amazing. It's kind of like our internet today. But thanks to that Satan guy, Elon Musk, we're all going to have internet, right? The glare is a little bad in here, folks. I'm sorry, but some presidential plates. That's cool. Looks like Rayburn was planning on running for office at one point, and for president. Anyway, they did say that this guy was really in public, would listen to constituents, and actually meet with people face to face. He was an honest guy, which is something really missing in politics today. And the end of his career would have been around the time with all the Kennedy stuff, assassinations, and yeah, politics got really skewed big time during that time period. With LBJ and all, so who knows what the real story is, but so they made a direct replica of what his speaker office looked like in that time period. That's pretty cool. There's the actual office. Did a pretty amazing job. It looks identical. We're in the actual library. Check that out. A tribute to the man. This is dedicated in 1957, so he would have actually seen this. He was still alive at that point. Yes, there's Sam Rayburn and the architect right there, and Roscoe DeWitt. So you actually got to see this be built. That's pretty cool. That's a picture of his house, I believe, that was just out of town here. It's kind of cool. There's silver work here. So these are stamps they made. July 1st, 1971, the post office ceased operation as a government function and became a service industry. So if I had an eternity to read all these books, I could know as much about our country as good old Sam did. Can you imagine? It's like studying to be 10 lawyers. This is back when the Speaker of the House actually held some clout, you know? He wouldn't stand up there and just shred stuff that the president was reading off. Actually had respect. Something missing in today's politics. So right here in this town, they had his funeral, and some quite impressive figures right here. You had President Kennedy, Johnson, Eisenhower, and Truman all here at this funeral. Right here in town. So we'll see if we can find this church when we leave here and get a picture of that where they had a funeral where all these presidents were at one time. He served with 8 presidents. That's pretty wild. So these are all the presidents he served under. Wow. Folks, so that takes us to Sam Rayburn's funeral site here at the First Baptist Church in Bonham, Texas. And if you can see from those photos I just showed you, still looks pretty much exactly the same, all the way back from 1961. And all those presidents back in 1961 were right here in this small town of Bonham, Texas. Pretty wild, huh? Pretty wild. So this part of our journey will conclude here at the Willow Wild Cemetery in Bonham, Texas. And just right on the other side of that water tower is where the Sam Rayburn Library was we just left. And I think we have found his grave here. If you're using Find a Grave, it's going to tell you the wrong location, so you got to look for it. This is a big cemetery. Right. So this would be a lot of his family here. Sisters, brothers. His parents are here. There you go. Tennessee native Sam Talaferro Rayburn moved to Texas with his family in 1887. So he's 5 years old when he came to this part of the world. His long, successful political career began with his election to the Texas legislation in 1906. It continued through 25 consecutive terms in the U.S. House of Representatives, where Rayburn served with 8 presidents and held the speakership for 17 years. His funeral at the First Baptist Church in Bonham was attended by 30,000 people, including 4 presidents and 105 congressmen. Amazing for a small town to have that going on. There he is, Mr. Sam Rayburn. Rest in peace. And man, if we could just bring the politicians back of yesteryear, wouldn't that be awesome? It sounds like this guy really cared and really tried to do good for the country. Something we're lacking these days. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. And yeah, beautiful cemetery, but super hot, and I bet super creepy at night because there's some very old stones in this cemetery.